Hey guys. Yeah, I wanted to come on here, kind of give you my thoughts on something that dropped yesterday. It was much to my surprise as anybody else's. And it's kind of ironic because not that long ago, if not recently, I did a video on it as part of my new as part of my new as part of my new how it should have went videos. As a matter of fact, it was episode 4 where I talked about it in my new series, How It Should Have Went. And that is the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. Now, despite the controversy that it got back in its heyday, which is easy for me to say, but back during the time it originally came out, 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo went on to be one of the more popular and more beloved series or incarnations of the original Scooby-Doo Run, which was 1969 to 1987. That was the original Scooby-Doo Run. It became one of the more beloved, more popular, and like I said back during its original debut, one of the more controversial programs that they had. Unfortunately for it did not end on a decent finale. As a matter of fact, we didn't even get the 13th ghost yet, which was a disappointment. But even though I did a How It Should Have Went video on it, Warner Brothers, I don't think this is because they heard my video. I don't think this is because they watched my video. But Warner Brothers decided, you know what? Let's put a cap on the 13 Ghost story. So what's going to happen is in February of next year, as part of the yearly Scooby-Doo original movie releases, because they usually get about 1 or 2 direct-to-video releases, next year, in February of next year, we will get a follow-up conclusion, a follow-up movie on 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo called Scooby-Doo and the 13th Ghost, where we will finally meet the 13th Ghost. However, there's a difference. You see, Velma and Fred are tagging along. And you can kind of tell, I will say this, from what I saw in this trailer, you can already tell that in a way, this is going to be, hopefully, unless they're leading us along on a trick, they're kind of tagging us along, kind of leading us along on false hope, if you will. It looks like, in a sense, this is going to be in a somewhat definitive Scooby, Shaggy, and Daphne film. Because remember, this is supposed to be a follow-up to the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. Now, there are some significant changes. Film-Flam is grown up. He's now a young adult. And he is voiced by Will Ferrell, the guy that voiced Terry McGinnis in Batman Beyond. So he's voicing him. However, we don't see Scrappy, and we don't know if we'll get Bogle and Weird making an appearance or not. And we'll probably, more than likely, get an idea of how the 12th ghost was captured, or did we miss that? You see, a lot of people are trying to figure out, did they capture the 13 ghosts? Myself, I have to go back and look and watch the series myself, but if I recall right, they may or may not have, I don't really know. Because they did capture 2 ghosts in one episode. So that has to count for at least two out of the 13. So anyway, we are going to get the 13 ghosts here. And what I like about this trailer, like I said, is it feels like, as I mentioned, it feels like it's going to be somewhat of a definitive 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo finale. It feels like it's going to be more focused on Shaggy, Scooby, and Daphne, and Vincent Van Ghoul, and you just have Fred and Velma there tagging along for the ride. What they do kind of show in this trailer is Velma still trying to shoo off the notion that there are anything that ghosts are real. She's trying to shoo it off. Like, it's not real, it's a hoax, and all that. But apparently, in the trailer, you can kind of start telling that Velma is going to start believing. Like, maybe there is something to this, but it's her pride that's holding her back from accepting the idea that there are real ghosts. So, yeah, Fred and Velma are there for the ride. We do get the iconic red van back that we saw debut in 13 Ghosts, so that's good. Daphne goes from what we've seen her lately as just her regular design, the headband and regular outfit we've seen her in, and she's going into more of a, I guess you could say, hybrided, modernized version of what she wore in the 1985 series. In other words, what she's wearing here in the movie is a more modern take on what she wore in the 1985 series. Scooby and Shaggy Shaggy still wears his green outfit, although we might get a hint to him wearing red down the line. We don't really know yet. But yeah, from what I've seen right now, it looks good. It looks really good. And hopefully it does turn out to be a nearly definitive follow-up and conclusion to 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. Thus, a near and almost definitive Shaggy, Scooby, and Daphne film. Because remember, with the exception of Film-Flam, and he's going to be in there, grown up and everything. The exception of Film-Flam, Vincent Van Ghoul, and Scrappy, the central stars of that series were Scooby, Shaggy, and Daphne. And when you watch the trailer, just the reaction on Daphne's face, a little bit like, oh crap, we got to go back. Because basically she knows this whole thing centers around her, Shaggy and Scooby, and Film-Flam. But mostly just her and Shaggy and Scooby. Now, the title of the movie is actually Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13th Ghost. So, here's the synopsis that Collider.com got. Here's the synopsis. Okay? This is what the synopsis says. This is the official synopsis that Collider.com got. And I quote, "After the Mystery Inc. gang goofed up..." Okay, let me restart that. Here's the official synopsis that Collider.com got, and I quote, "After the Mystery Inc. gang goofed up a case and nabbed an innocent man, they're forced into early retirement from crime solving. Get that? Basically, it says, and again I quote, After the Mystery Inc. gang goofed up a case and nabbed an innocent man, they're forced into early retirement from crime solving." Now, hear this. "It's not long, however, before the old friend Vincent Van Ghoul needs help and pulls the team right back into action. The gang has unfinished business they must tend to, which involves catching a ghost that previously got away." Now, listen to this part of the synopsis. "It all happened one summer while Velma and Freddy were away at camp. Scooby, Shaggy, and Daphne secretly hunted down 12 of the world's spookiest ghosts, but failed to capture the most evil one of them all, the 13th ghost. So basically, from this explanation that we're getting, that all this time that Daphne, Shaggy, and Scooby were going around the world, it was during the summer, and during this time, Fred and Velma are away at camp, and yet you have Daphne, Shaggy, and Scooby going around the world capturing these ghosts, living basically in the same house, and thus indicating at the same time that Shaggy and Daphne are an item. And the one question some fans have is, will this be brought up in the film, or hinted at, or acknowledged in some ways? We'll have to wait and see. Continuing on, and I quote, Now the elusive spook is wreaking havoc. Vincent needs help having him captured and confined to the chest of demons, a box that contains the other 12 captured ghosts. With the 13 ghosts still on the loose, the gang will have to come out of retirement and finish the job once and for all. The chest, however, is now located somewhere in a remote village in the Himalayas. Determined to help Vincent, the gang sets out on one of the most thrilling adventures yet. So, yeah, and sorry for that bit of a pause there. I was just trying to click on something. But yeah, basically, Velma and Fred have no clue what they're getting themselves into, because there is a picture that's going to be on this video that pretty much shows their reaction. They're looking at each other. Fred and Velma are looking at each other like, what's going on? You know, what's happening? And the reaction by Daphne, Shaggy, and Scooby are like, here we go again. Like, basically their reaction is they didn't think they'd have to deal with this again, and yet they are. So overall, the idea of getting a finale, a conclusion to the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, I think is a great idea. The synopsis makes it sound okay. I think the only like I said, the idea from finale sounds good. I think the only exception people will have is that it takes place during a time when Fred and Velma at summer camp. So it takes place in the summer. Doesn't make any real sense. So, but overall, the idea looks good. The animation looks good, and hopefully we get a decent finale. So that's all I'm going to say, guys. Let me know what you think, your thoughts are on Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13 Ghosts being the conclusion and follow-up and finale to 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. And I am out.